What is the true nature of our reality? Does NASA's version of what we see differ from what we can observe with our own eyes? Is it okay to question what we're told? We need to talk about the Great Awakening. As I've said so many times before, you can't force someone to wake up. Each individual has to choose to wake up and take the red pill and do the research necessary to wake up. Each of you listening to me right now has done that to some degree or another, and each of us arrived at our current understanding of how the world works through different means, different paths, and even by way of different topics. For me, the spark that lit the fuse was the 9/11 attacks and World Trade Center 7 specifically. For others, it may have been having a vaccine-damaged child, something I also identify with. While for others, your awakening may have been spurred by the dumbing down of our educational system, Common Core in the public schools, the removal of any talk of God in the public square, and the all-out attack on the family. Or maybe it was just that you discovered that the Federal Reserve is private. The point is, there are many subjects that can cause people to question official government or corporate narratives, leading them to wake up. And while everyone listening to this video right now is among the woke, clearly we don't all agree on every single subject or point within a subject. 9/11 is the perfect example. Planes or no planes? Nanothermite or directed energy weapons? You get my drift. The spiritual nature of our human existence and human experience on Earth cannot be ignored or dismissed, no matter how hard our enemies try to convince us that we are nothing more than a random accident. In terms of researching the real truths of our world, my recent guest, Marty Leeds, said it best.
The people that run this world, they're not doing it for greed. They're not doing it for money. They're not doing it for land. They're doing it just as you said, Sean. They are trying to play God. End of story. If you want to figure out the true conspiracies of this world, you better be going to theology. You better be going to theology because that's what they're focused on.
Given the vitriol spewed in the comments section of my interview with Crow777, I thought this comment from Owen Troyer in his interview with Justin Fowle was most serendipitous and timely.
I'm just kind of open-minded to everything. I'm not necessarily a geocentrist or flat earther, but I am curious about it all. In the larger scheme of things, I don't think it matters. Whatever it is, it's all created by God.
You see, friends, we are all at different stages of our awakening journey, and that's okay. But it's also okay to question everything. It's okay to search for the data and proof that will verify that all we've been taught from birth is either true or false. It's okay to look up at the sun, the moon, and stars, and it's okay to ask, what is the true nature of this world and our reality? The Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And friends, if that is true, it's never been more clear that wicked men who control the reality of this world don't want you to know it. Literally, they've changed the secret sauce. So now you do a search for anything. Like, for instance, in this recent little microdoc I was working on, I wanted to show, I had mentioned NASA Project Bluebeam, and I wanted to show the documents as I brought that up in my microdoc, and I couldn't find them. You type in NASA Project Bluebeam into Google or YouTube, you'll get nothing.
See, this is why people don't understand that rich is just a control mechanism. The people that pull the strings at the top could spend as much money as they possibly could every day, all day, for the next 100 years and not dent what's at their disposal. What's going on here is a bid for the whole world takeover. It came into the light of day on 9/11,
yeah.
And has progressed onward since. But the truth is that minds began to come online around the millennium change.
Yeah, isn't that a weird thing? I brought that up in an interview. Look at how much I'm looking into things that I would have never dreamed of in 2012.
That's
I
right.
heard about this shift of consciousness that was going to happen.
Right.
Well, maybe it's actually happened.
It is happening, and it doesn't matter what they do. It's not going to stop. The only thing that can stop it is if they get iron-fisted control, and that's what they're desperately running towards, because too many people can see without the glasses, basically. And the real truth is that everything you frickin' know is wrong, except You know, that's a shameful thing to admit because we're all culpable. But the point I would make is, at the same time, all of us are beginning to understand that regurgitating something I memorized is not knowledge. It just isn't. And so now people are taking a fresh look, and, you know, yeah, they've eliminated a lot of us, but guess what? Crow 777 radio is still going. And there is not a country in the world with an internet connection that's not aware of the lunar wave. And that tells you something. We've come to show that every space agency in this world is here for one reason: to ensure you know nothing about what is above your head, and that includes the sun and moon. And we're about to drop a huge bombshell with regard to the sun.